What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Farzy Show. My name is Mark Farzy. Great to have you along for the ride. So much to get to today. The Sixers, they're able to escape the jaws of defeat and actually get victory against the Cavs on the road last night. It was in no way, shape, or form as comfortable a win as I would have thought it would have been. Somebody hit me up in the comments after the game saying, I think you're thinking about the old school Cavs, not the new Cavs that are pretty, actually pretty good playoff team and all that. And it wasn't so much I wasn't thinking about the new school Cavs as much as I was thinking about the new school Sixers, that they would be, I don't know, better than a team that had to go to overtime with the Magic, better than a team that got blown up by the Nets, better than a team that we have seen most recently play with the James Harden era of the Philadelphia 76ers. And the start of things were nice. The rest of things, not so nice until they were able to pull off the victory in the latter stages of that game. Rutgers, Notre Dame had a crazy NCAA first four game last night, went to double overtime. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We got a new batch of broadcasters for Monday Night Football yet again, and this one I actually like. And we also have a birthday to talk about when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid. And plus, a little bit of a scare when it came to Joel Embiid. But first, let me just put your worries aside, folks, okay? Yesterday, I went out and I spoke to the great kids of the St. Joseph, St. Roberts. I guess it's not Horsham, but it's, I forget where it is, but it's Bucks County. It's where I grew up in Bucks County for the most part. And I went out there and talked to the kids for career day, the 8th grade kids, the 6th and 7th grade kids. I had 2 sessions, and they were phenomenal. They're absolutely phenomenal. What did I do to grab their attention? I'll tell you what I did to grab their attention. I brought T-shirts is what I did. Yeah, that's right. I brought T-shirts. And I said, here's what I did. I said at the beginning of my talk, I said to them, all right, kids, actually, I didn't say that. I said, young men and women. That's right. By the way, the Catholic schools now, they got the V-neck sweaters. We had full sweaters back in my day. And I was always sweating like crazy in them, man. The V-necks are just the way to go, and now I'm jealous of the Catholic school system that I apparently missed the V-neck sweaters, which I would have really enjoyed. But I digress. It's not about me. So, well, it is because I'm telling a story about me talking to career day. So I go out there, and I say to them, my name is Mark Farzetta, digital sports host. That's what I do. And I start the show, the Farzy Show. I started that about a year ago. And I said, I live in Philadelphia with my lovely wife. Damn right I said lovely. And then I said, my 2 kids, Emanuela, whose nickname is Monalutz. I know I call her Little Toots on the show and also, but her real nickname is Monalutz. And then my son Leonardo, who we call Leo. And I said, yeah, that's right. My daughter's nickname is Monalutz. So I talked for 15 minutes. I answer questions for another 15 minutes. And then at the end, I pull out a T-shirt and I say, for a T-shirt, who can tell me my daughter's nickname? And the hilarity ensued. The kids were having a great time. We were laughing. We were having fun. And no one could say Monalutz in the class, which was awesome. So I ended up giving a T-shirt away. Now, they tried piecing it together. I'd be like, all right, what's my daughter's nickname? And then one kid would go like, Manicotti. And I'm like, no, not Manicotti, but you got to be M.A., right? M.A., anyone else? And then the next kid would build onto that. It would build on, and we got crazy answers. We're all having fun. We're laughing. And hopefully they got something out of it where they could basically hire themselves, which is more or less what I did for my own show. But it's always cool to go out there and talk to the young minds. And not just for them to like hear from so many different career paths. There was a firefighter. So I was like, well, if there was anything that could trump sports, it'd be the firefighter. So thanks for that guy showing up. But anyway, in all seriousness, it's interesting to learn from them and how they're learning in school now, which is just smart boards and all that stuff is just out of my realm. I had the chalk, high tech. I'm going to make myself sound old. I'm not even 40. But high tech in my day was like that overhead projector. You know, the thing that looked like a periscope on a submarine, or the teacher that had the chalk holder. You know what I'm saying? The chalk would go inside the little holder thing, and it was supposed to make it less squeaky and or more clean for the teacher. That was high tech in my day. And yes, as many of you have seen on social media and the different pictures that have come out, the TV on top of the rolling cart that had the seatbelt over the TV to strap it down, like that thing was holding anything down. That was, you walked into a classroom, you saw that, day was made, folks. That was also high tech. That's my day of school. Anyway, so thanks to St. Joe, St. Roberts. Had a great time speaking to the kids out there, the young men and women. And I actually was in the library, which right away just gave me agita. just looking around and being like, I didn't spend a lot of time in here when I was in school. Yeah, so thanks to those guys for having me out there. Had a great time. Birthday wishes in order for Joel Embiid yesterday. If you didn't see it, ladies and gentlemen, it was JoJo's birthday. Here is the Sixers welcoming JoJo to shoot around yesterday.
We're going to sing today. Yeah, we didn't see y'all in a while. Good to see you, Farzy.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Paul, do the dance, Paul, do the dance. Tyrese, do the dance. Let's go.
At least they were loose going into the game last night, so that's good. And did you see the T-shirts? This is incredible. I saw actually friend of the show, George Niang, putting these out there for the team. I don't know where this picture came from. I've never seen this picture of Joel Embiid, but obviously a very young, shocked Joel Embiid, I guess. So there you go. And then Tyrese Maxey said yesterday during his press conference that he thought it was a very famous rapper and not Joel Embiid.
T-shirts? I think that was George's idea. Yeah, it fell off my loop. And I'm not gonna lie, at first I thought it was Tupac. And then I looked it over, I said, is that Joel on my loop? What's going on? What's going on here? Now I remembered it was his birthday, so I was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah.
So the Sixers, like I said, were very loose going into yesterday's game. There was one thing that made me a little tense going into yesterday's game, and those were the reports earlier in the day about Joel Embiid experiencing back soreness and was questionable going into last night's game. He only went on to drop 37 points and pull down 17 rebounds and another amazing performance by the 76ers big man. And if there was a play so far this season, of all the plays that we've seen Joel Embiid have, it was towards the end of the first half of last night's game where he's at the foul line extended, just a couple steps inside the three-point line, and he's about triple teamed. Somebody knocks the ball out of his hands. He picks it up, dribbles out of the triple team, outside the perimeter now, turn around, one fluid motion, shot, swish, three, good. It was a thing of beauty. And the Sixers went into the locker room enjoying a very nice halftime lead and then scored 13 points in the third quarter. I think it was 31-13 in that third quarter in favor of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they ended that third quarter, I believe, on a 26-4 run. That doesn't get a lot done, unfortunately. Tobias Harris, who had a really strong first half, was 0 for 1 in the third quarter. I don't know what to be more upset about, the fact that he didn't score or the fact that he only shot one shot. I don't know what to be more upset about, but they did a little bit more for him. He did have a big three going into halftime, which was nice. But again, coming out in the third quarter, one shot from Tobias Harris. But they need to be better than that. Fourth quarter, Sixers finally woke back up. Joel Embiid got it going again. James Harden was good for the free throw line. And Tyrese Maxey continues to be a godsend to this offense. He had an explosive dunk. I believe it was in the third quarter, towards the latter stages of the third quarter. Had a huge three with about 2 minutes left in the game, which put the Sixers back up 4. And from that point on, the Sixers, I don't want to say they had control, but you definitely felt better about just the odds of them winning. They went into the game last night as 4-point favorites to win. I jumped on that, think that they were going to roll this team last night because it was a team that they quite frankly could roll. And they had struggled so many times in the previous 3 games. This would be a game they jump out and handle their business. And they didn't do that. They struggled, especially in that third quarter where they allowed the Cavs to get back into this game. In the fourth quarter, there was a big struggle again, but the Sixers were able to pull it out. Joel Embiid got involved and basically willed this team to a victory, despite some really questionable officiating. I'll say that. But throughout the game, it was inconsistent. I saw multiple occasions guys from both teams talking to one of the referees consistently about, well, how do you call that? What did I do? What's going on there? Matisse Thybulle got called for, I thought, a clean block. He ended up getting called for a foul. He tracked down the same official that everyone been talking to, saying, how is that a foul? When multiple guys are going up to you as an official, as a former official, ladies and gentlemen, if a lot of guys are coming up to you being like, what the hell is that? You might not be having the best day. If it's one guy consistently, all right, the guy can be a crybaby. He just doesn't see it my way, whatever. But if it's multiple people, look in the mirror because you might not be doing the best job that particular night. So maybe try to get in better position to make a call. That's the way I would take it if I was that official. But I guess they didn't take it that way last night because it continued to be inconsistent calls from that official. So as the game went on, the Sixers finally established themselves again. They won by 4, so it's a push if you bet the game. So I didn't win anything. I just didn't lose anything last night. But the way that game went is the way that I did not expect it to go. And it really got me questioning things because it's very similar. Even though the Cavs are a much better team, I'm not comparing them at all to the Magic in terms of status in the NBA by any means. But in terms of what the Sixers are supposed to be with James Harden, for what the Sixers are supposed to be after trading away Ben Simmons and Seth Curry and Andre Drummond and multiple first-round picks, I'm expecting to be a lot better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. And last night, they were not a lot better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. And you can't blame it on the back-to-back. Oh, can he still be tired a day later? Joel Embiid? Yeah, absolutely. He can still be tired a day later. But you're supposed to be leaps and bounds better. You're supposed to be the best team in the Eastern Conference. And if you're not the best team in the Eastern Conference, you should be the second best team in the Eastern Conference. Right now, they're 3 games out of being the best team in the Eastern Conference, behind the Miami Heat, behind the Milwaukee Bucks, who are 2 games behind the Heat. So for me, I need the Sixers to be playing a lot better brand of basketball just to give me the warm and fuzzies going into the playoffs. The Nets lost last night. Spencer Dinwiddie, of all people, hit the game winner against the Brooklyn Nets to make himself feel all warm and fuzzy for the Dallas Mavericks. He went back to Brooklyn and stuck it to him with the game-winning shot after Kevin Durant abandoned him at the three-point line, and he knocked down what was the game-winning shot. So that was nice to see. Nets lose. Their 4-game win streak gets snapped, but still, they are a team that I don't think a lot of people, including the Sixers, really want to face in the first round. If they make it through the play-in turn, they get bounced in the play-in. Oh, my goodness, how much fun would that be? But I don't think that's going to happen. And yes, of course, they were playing at home, so they still did not have Kyrie Irving playing in that game. But when you look at the Sixers right now, what I'm not getting is what I got in the early days. And we're only, 9 games into this? But what we didn't get in the early days of James Harden. And we didn't get that sniper. We didn't get that guy who has a lot of confidence in his shot. We haven't gotten that recently. And last night, he was something like 1 for 6 from beyond the arc. And still, multiple occasions where I see James Harden, and he talked about this after the game where he needs to be more aggressive, but multiple occasions in the game last night, again, where James Harden either got a screen and was open to shoot and didn't, or created his own space. And instead of immediately popping the shot when he had space to shoot, he waited and deferred to make the play for a teammate. Now, in the early days of this, you're thinking, all right, that's great. Couple of games into it, hey, look, he's not selfish. He's trying to get his other teammates points. That's great. But when you'd like to get your offense going again, like in the third quarter, for instance, and you're only scoring 13 points as a team, that's where you want Joel Embiid. That's where you want Tyrese Maxey. And, of course, yes, that's where you want James Harden creating his own shot and then taking advantage of that space instead of deferring to a lesser teammate, so to speak. And last night in the third quarter, I saw that a number of times. Fourth quarter, I saw that a number of times. He started to be a little bit more aggressive by going to the rim, finishing at the rim, going to the line, trying to convert the three-point play. He ended up with 21 points, so that looks great on the stat line. But when it comes to the overall flow of the game, for the life of me, I can't think of too many former MVPs that have created that much space for themselves and then deferred to pass off to a teammate. Like, the whole point of getting open and creating that space is to get that shot off. And instead of James Harden doing that, he is still very much deferring to his teammates. Tyrese Maxey talked about it last night after the game where he just said James Harden's trying to set us all up and be that playmaker. James Harden talked about it last night where he said he needs to be that playmaker and then also find his times to be aggressive. Third quarter, when everybody else is struggling, that'd be a time to be aggressive. Fourth quarter, when you're still not putting the wheels back on the race car, that might be a time to do that again. And Doc Rivers said going into the game last night that James Harden needs to be more aggressive. I'm not seeing that from James Harden. I'm seeing James Harden get 20 points by struggling from the three-point line, struggling from the floor, but ultimately going to the line to get points that way. For me, that's not going to cut it going into the playoffs. Sixers have, 14 games left in the season? Whatever the better brand of basketball is, I want to see that going into the playoffs a lot more than what we saw last night. And I hate being the stick in the mud when it comes to winning and then still critiquing. And the famous quote, I've referenced it before with Mike Schmidt, the joy of reading and I always mess it up. The joy of victory and the agony of reading about it the next day in the paper. That's Philadelphia for an athlete. Well, we're not going to look at the Cleveland Cavaliers as a team you're going to go up against as a championship caliber team. So what we do is we look at those teams that aren't the Nets, for instance. We look at those teams that aren't the Heat. We look at those teams that aren't the Bucks, for instance. And we go, all right, this is what the Sixers did against those lesser non-top 3 teams. How would they fare if they played this way against the Nets, against the Heat, against the Bucks? And I'll tell you what would happen. They would lose. So it's not just about playing who's in front of you that given night. It's about taking that performance and saying, well, they can't get away with that when they play against those other 3 teams. And that's, you think they're going to survive if they score 13 points against the Heat? You think they're going to survive if they score 13 points against the Bucks? And certainly not the Nets, not playoff Nets, not on the road playoff Nets, where they actually have Kyrie. That ain't happening. By the way, speaking of the Nets, one more time. Ben Simmons. Another bit of a setback. They're hopeful, quote unquote, that they can get Ben Simmons to play a couple of games before the playoffs start, if anything. So there's that. Now, when it comes to injuries, when it comes to not feeling great, there was that report that I referenced earlier about Joel Embiid going into the game, questionable because of a bad back. Joel Embiid, after the game last night, was asked about that bad back, and here's what he had to say.
Joel, we're on the injury report saying questionable.
What?
Which I know, I know
I can't fall.
I saw you grab your knee too. I know you've been dealing with these kinds of things, but how are you feeling? How have you been feeling?
I'm feeling great. I mean, obviously the fall happened last game, but it's whatever. But it's the NBA season. None of us is feeling good at this point, so you just gotta keep pushing. We got a tough schedule ahead, so it's all about getting these wins every single day.
Okay, he didn't know where that came from. If you saw the expression on James Harden's face. What, you were hurt? What? He was like, yeah, I don't know where that came from, but yeah, I was hurt. My back was bothering me. I broke my back. Apparently that was the case. And he went out and just dominated. I mean, 20 and 10 in the first half again for Joel Embiid. I'll tell you, that Joel Embiid over is one of the safest bets you can make in the NBA right now, if not all of sports. But last night he just went out there and he dominated. And he always says he tries to be dominant. Last night was another example of that. He had everything going in his game last night. And I had some pause. I thought my 5-leg parlay was going to be at risk last night, simply because Joel Embiid wasn't going to be playing. And he played, and man, did he show up, and man, did he lead his team to victory. That was a great performance. And Tyrese Maxey also continues to improve. And last night was the first night, I think, that we really saw the big 4. We've talked about Harden and Embiid. Obviously, we've talked about Maxey being part of the big 3, and that's the big thing in the NBA. Now, who's your big 3? Well, last night was a good example of the big 4, with the exception of that the exception of that third quarter where nobody showed up. That was a scary pump the brakes type of moment that I could have very much done without in the Sixers game last night. So we'll get more on the Sixers coming up a little bit later in our morning rush segment as to their next opponent. And that's what we got as far as that goes. Let's jump into the baseball world before we talk a little Monday Night Football. I was obviously doing the talk yesterday with all the kids, right? I was having a good time. And around, I guess, 10 o'clock, I think I was wrapping up the speed. No, yeah, I leave the library. Do all school libraries smell the same? Is that the deal? I think they all smell the same. But I'm leaving the library and that smell and leather-bound books. And walking out, and I look at my phone and I go, oh, Kyle Schwarber! He's a Philly! And although I'm still very mad at baseball, I'm very excited about what the Phillies have done. because I believe right now the Phillies have enough to be a playoff team. Now, would they have enough last year to be a playoff team? No. But now you have expanded playoffs, so now I feel like the Phillies have a playoff team. Kyle Schwarber, just in time when you need a left fielder, just in time when you need a designated hitter from time to time, Kyle Schwarber can be your man. Kyle Schwarber can get you 370 to 400 on-base percentage, if not a little bit more. He can hit you 30-plus home runs. Love that. He can hit 260, 275 for you. I love that, too. That's exactly what the Phillies needed. They also needed a guy to come in and bat at the top of the order. This guy can bat leadoff for you, as he did for the Red Sox last year in the playoffs. He's done it before with the Nationals. This guy has great plate awareness, great plate coverage, great pitch recognition. I absolutely love this signing. On the more all-around side of things, I think Kris Bryant could have filled what the Phillies really needed in terms of being that solid center fielder, maybe even that solid third baseman. He got a 7-year deal, $182 million. Or 8-year deal, $182 million. That's a nice chunk of change. Rounds out to about $26 million a year. Wow, that's a lot of money for Kris Bryant. But in terms of what the Phillies needed in the lineup and still what they needed in left field, they checked 2 huge boxes. One, to have that bat in the lineup every day, and the other, to have that ability to play left field the way he has the ability to play left field. Not going to win you a Gold Glove by any means, but the Phillies have certainly been through enough of those left fielders. Raul Ibanez, Pat Burrell, go back in the day, Greg Luzinski, Black Sunday. We all know the deal there. But when it comes to what we saw or what we have seen so far from Kyle Schwarber, what he did in his years with the Cubs, what he did in his brief stint with the Nationals, and what he did with the Red Sox last year in the postseason are all things the Phillies need in this lineup and, quite frankly, need as a base in left field. They caught up with Bryce Harper yesterday. He was ecstatic about it. Now it's just a matter of whether or not the Phillies have done enough at this point and what else could they do to add to this lineup, add to the rotation, add to the bullpen, and obviously add to the field as well. And what's funny is I'm watching guys show up yesterday at spring training, like take the field and all that stuff. By the way, games start today. By the way, happy St. Patrick's Day. By the way, for all the fine Irish people that watch and listen to the show, happy St. Patrick's Day to you guys. But I'm thinking about this with lineups. I'm thinking about Gene Segura, top of the lineup again. Thinking about Kyle Schwarber, top of the lineup guy. Thinking about Rhys Hoskins, top of the lineup guy. Usually you go with the center fielder in that spot, and that's not going to be the case for the Phillies. Maybe even a shortstop. I don't think that's going to be the case for the Phillies. But when you think about this lineup, Hoskins, Herrera, God, I even hate that name's still in there. Harper, Schwarber, Real Muto, Baum, Didi, Segura, all these guys. It's like, how are you going to organize this right now for the best of the Phillies' ability? And I don't even know if Joe Girardi even knows where he's putting anybody right now. But I'm looking forward to seeing the latter stages of spring training where we really start to put this order together to see who's going to be your leadoff man, who's going to be hitting number 2, who's going to be hitting 3, 4, all that, and who's going to be protecting Bryce Harper in the middle of that order, because I think that's what it's going to come down to for the Phillies. And one thing I did like last year, I just saw John say, why did they bring Odubel back? I don't know. I don't know why they did, but that's what they did. Hey, here's what I'd like to see. Hey there, Mickey Moniak. Hey there, Matt Vierling. All these guys. Go take center field. Please be better than Odubel Herrera. Because the Phillies can't save. Like, I need one of these younger guys to save the Phillies from themselves in a way. I need one of those younger guys to take over that position and not have it be close. Like, I don't even want a platoon type of situation with Odubel Herrera. I want, like, in the 7th or 8th inning, the Phillies need a pinch hitter and Odubel Herrera goes in the game and we look and we go, oh, that's right, they brought back Odubel. Like, I want him to be forgotten about, basically. But it's not even going to be, at this point, it's not going to be up to Dave Dombrowski anymore because he's already made the decision. It's not going to be up to Joe Girardi anymore. It's because the team has already made the decision. Mickey Moniak and some of these younger, Matt Vierling, they have to just snatch the center field job away from Odubel Herrera. That's what needs to happen. Scott Kingery, I've never rooted harder for you than I am right now to take that spot. So please, as much as I hate the idea of a guy who's a natural second baseman playing in the outfield, I get Delino DeShields vibes. How's that for a reference? As much as I hate that idea, whatever doesn't have Odubel Herrera in center field, that's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is one of these other guys step in and actually take over that center fielder's role. And the Phillies have a legit regular starting center fielder for the first time since Shane Victorino, maybe? That's where we'll go with that. So let's just keep our fingers crossed for that to actually happen. I'm rooting for it. I'm not betting on it. I don't know. I interviewed Mickey Monier a couple of years ago when he had just got all swole, got all jacked. Maybe he's coming to his own now. Maybe this is the year that it'll really start working for him. That's what we'll keep our fingers crossed. But ultimately, I saw that news come across yesterday, immediately got excited. Harper's obviously pumped for it. And this team got exactly what they needed lineup-wise. Now it's going to be a matter of whether or not your bullpen can stay together, whether or not guys can stay healthy, and whether or not, no matter what it is. See, for me, the Phillies season isn't even going to start until August because they have to prove, just like any of these young guys have to prove they can be the regular everyday center fielder, the Phillies have to prove that when they hit August, when they hit September, they won't go in the tank. They won't turtle up. They won't get scared. And I'll tell you one thing. The way Rhys Hoskins hit last year was the way I want to see Rhys Hoskins hit for the rest of his career in terms of home runs. I saw a much more aggressive Rhys Hoskins, a guy that was not looking to work a count to full count every single time, but more so a guy that when he was batting third or fourth in the Phillies order, he was waiting for that pitch to hit, and if he got it, he drove it. If he got a good pitch outside the middle end on the plate, he was cranking it to left field. That's what I want to see from Rhys Hoskins. I don't want to see that passive stuff at the plate. I want to see him being aggressive at the plate because he's got the power to do it. We know he's got the power to do it. It was so many different guys getting in his head, and now you have the new the coach Long as your hitting coach. See what he can do with Alec Boehm. See what he can do with Rhys Hoskins. You have so many different people giving Hoskins in particular these different thoughts, and it was just like too much was in his head. Last year it was just like they gave him a message, hey, man, go out there and swing. And that's what he did, and you saw some of his best power numbers in quite some time. If they would have finished the season with him, I think that this team actually would have made the playoffs last year. So now knowing that you already have Hoskins, you already have an NL MVP in Bryce Harper, and now you've added Kyle Schwarber to that mix, if Bryson Stott's anything at shortstop, and you have a competition, a legit competition between Didi and Bryson Stott at short, this team can do something special. They can actually make the playoffs and actually not just be a fringe playoff team. And you saw what happened yesterday. 6 years, $162 million for Freddie Freeman to go out to Los Angeles to play for the Dodgers. That deal went down last night. Even though that the Braves just won the World Series, and even though the Braves just already got in Olsen, another first baseman, to take that spot, they're not going to be as good as they were last year. So if the Phillies can improve and continue to build, then some good things can happen for this team. You can do something special. And Kyle Schwarber is the biggest exclamation point to that point going into the season. So I'll keep my fingers crossed for that. On Monday Night Football, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Now, this is interesting. First, the news kind of leaked out that Troy Aikman was most likely going to be joining Monday Night Football. I was like, okay, that makes sense. He's a great analyst. Love what he does. Hate him as a Cowboy. Love him as an analyst. Think he does a great job. Think he's very objective as an analyst, which is very difficult to say. And then Joe Buck. I don't think his Twitter profile says this anymore, but it used to. I think it even used to say, relax, Philadelphia and Chicago, I don't hate your teams. I have used this before. It's a bastardized version of a very funny line from a comic, Michael Ian Black from The State, from what is the show? I can't remember the show now, the summer camp show. I'm blanking on it. But anyway, Michael Ian Black would say, thinking that your kid is gifted is like the guy that goes to the strip club and thinks, she really likes me. I take that line and I bastardize it, and I say thinking that the national announcer hates your team is the same impulse for the guy that goes to the strip club and thinks, she really likes me. I don't think any national announcers hate your team. I just think that they're calling the game, and ultimately, you know what they're rooting for? For the game not to go to overtime and to not miss their flight after the game. That's ultimately what and I've been there firsthand. I know this knowledge. That's what they're rooting for. But when it comes to Joe Buck and it comes to Troy Aikman, when they're doing your game, you know your game is a big game. When you hear Al Michaels do your game, you know your game is a big game, whether that be big for the standings, big for the outcome of your season, or on the national stage where your team is trying to show what they can do on the national stage. You know your game is a big game. And for the first time in a very, very long time, probably since Al Michaels was calling Monday Night Football now has announcers that make you think this is a big game. I think Joe Buck is a phenomenal announcer. I love that he knows he gets our goat in Philadelphia and every once in a while needles us. What was it, the game in Seattle? Relax, Philadelphia, we're not talking about you. Like that stuff I laugh at because he's making a joke. He's making a joke because he knows people in the city about, Joe Buck, rah! I think he does a great job calling games. I don't think he hates Philadelphia by any means. And I am now looking forward for the first time in a long time to Monday Night Football. I like not Reese, Steve Levy. Nothing against Brian Greasy. Nothing against Louis Riddick. They did a fine job. I like Steve Levy's broadcast, pretty much anything that he does. Really like him in hockey. But when it came to Monday Night Football, there was no juice to the booth. Now the booth's going to have a little bit of juice to it. And I look forward to hearing the games that they're going to call. We've all heard it before with Fox. We've all heard it in the national games with Fox. We get it. But now having that as a big-time announcer crew on Monday Night Football, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And they have that thing. They have that special gift, that talent, that when they're doing your game, you know your game is a big deal that week. And now Monday Night Football, I think, is back to the status, or at least as close to the status it used to have when it was even Al Michaels and John Madden in the booth. Now, I don't think that they're at that level, but it's the best since then, and I really think it's undisputed going on from there. So I think the Monday Night Football, I think ESPN did a great thing for their broadcast last night. I look forward to hearing those broadcasts and watching those broadcasts, obviously. Locally, Merrill Reese announced yesterday that he's going to be your Philadelphia Eagles radio announcer for at least another 3 years, 79 years young. Merrill Reese, congrats to him on that contract extension. I know for a lot of people, that is just a miraculous thing to know that they're going to be hearing that voice for another at least 3 years. So great to know that as well. Congratulations to Merrill Reese on that. Tonight, Flyers drop the puck. Claude Giroux plays his 1,000th game. If you've scrolled social media, you've seen a highlight or two, ladies and gentlemen, of Claude Giroux's career. I believe it was the Flyers. They put out the faces morphing into other faces, the younger versions of Claude Giroux morphing into the older versions of Claude Giroux. Whether or not it'll be his last game as a Flyer is yet to be seen. We all know, and it was reported about a month ago, I think Sam Carchidi was the first to put it out there, how much playing 1,000 games with the Flyers meant to Claude. So if it's his last game, it's his last game. Trade deadline is, what's today? It's early next week. So we got to, we'll see if this is the last one for Claude. Oh, one more thing on birthdays. I didn't realize this. Apparently, so yesterday, Joel Embiid's birthday, as I referenced, I showed you the shirt. Riley Cote of Nasty Knuckles, our brother and brother. So happy birthday to Riley Cote. Before we get into our chat check, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about the great people at Destination Retirement. Oh, tomorrow, are joining us on the Roth Orthopedics guest line, Danny Pommells will join us from NBC Sports Philadelphia, Sixers Talk podcast. We'll break it all down. And here's a great thing. Later today, Danny is going to be interviewing Hassan Reddick, and that's going to be a one-on-one interview for NBC Sports Philly. So we'll talk to Danny, not just about the Sixers, but also his interview with Hassan Reddick. So look forward to that conversation with Danny. Hassan Reddick's getting introduced today by the Philadelphia Eagles, so that'll be great. Let me tell you about my man Mike Seibert, who presents the Fine Farzy Show here. Mike Seibert, retirement income certified professional, is a financial advisor for Eagles and Sixers fans only. His firm, Destination Retirement LLC, is a full-service planning firm and a partner of 1847 Financial. Mike helps clients with their accumulation and distribution years. What's the difference? A lot. Have you figured out how much you'll need per month when you retire? How much your retirement income you would like guaranteed, no matter what? Do you want to protect any assets from downside market risk? And do you have a written plan? If you have questions, if you need answers, if you have assets of $250,000 or more, Mike will create a written plan to help offset your retirement expenses free of charge using software from Retirement Analyzer. He usually charges just under $2,000 for this service, so act now. Your plan will show how you can help offset your retirement expenses, and also what you can do in a volatile market and help minimize taxes. With over 30 years of experience, Mike is committed to helping Eagles and Sixers fans only get to and through retirement. You can reach Mike at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035, or visit destinationretirement.com. Log on now, destinationretirement.com. Click on the Find Out link at the top of the page and fill out the questionnaire to see how prepared you are for retirement. You can also sign up for his newsletter, so make sure you do that at destinationretirement.com. He'll get back to you and talk about how he can help. And as always, go Birds and play the song. Let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia. For over 40 years, Steven Singer has been in the love business in Philadelphia. So do what I do when it comes to all your big jewelry purchases. Go to Steven Singer Jewelers. Beautiful diamond rings, diamond engagement rings, diamond tennis bracelets, diamond necklaces, diamond stud earrings, diamonds all over the place at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. Now, why does everyone say I hate Steven Singer? Well, two people say that. One, the guy that's been putting off getting engaged. The other is the other jeweler. The other jeweler hates Steven Singer because of that perfect price. I'll mark things up just to mark them down a little bit for the customer, just so they feel like they won something. No. Steven Singer doesn't want you to feel like you have to negotiate or haggle. He doesn't want you to have that pressure. So when you walk in, perfect price every single time. The guy next to you is paying exactly what you're paying, the perfect price. The person that's putting engaged, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? He doesn't know that Steven's making it so easy to get engaged. They got every excuse in the book. All those excuses are thrown out the window at Steven Singer because it's so easy to buy a diamond engagement rings. Who else has ready for love diamond engagement rings? Steven Singer, ladies and gentlemen. So do what I do. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com. Check out all the beautiful inventory. Go to Steven Singer and get walked through everything by a real jewelry expert. No haggle, no pressure. Just one perfect price every single day at Steven Singer Jewelers. IHateStevenSinger.com. Tomorrow, Danny Palmels will join us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. They bring us our guests each and every day. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the great people of WinView? WinView is the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the biggest sports fan? If you have those friends and family members who think they know everything, play them in a WinView contest and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. You want to break the monotony of family dinners and get-togethers? Challenge a friend or family member to a WinView contest. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that they love so much. So download the WinView app to your phone right now. Let me tell you about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into everyone's favorite part of the show, the chat check, and see how everybody's doing. A lot of live viewers today. Nice to see yous guys. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, John Cheeseborough. Nice to have you. Mally, Kevin again, Mally again, John. Burger and fries is my breaking news emoji combo. Freddie Freeman to the Dodgers. Where the hell are they getting this money? Well, it's Los Angeles, I guess. You want to talk about stupid money? Los Angeles has got that stupid money, apparently. Not apparently. I mean, we've known this. But good God, their lineup is stacked beyond belief. Jad, Evan, March Madness. I mentioned at the top of the show, Rutgers is insane. Rutgers is insane with that game last night. Notre Dame just pulled it out. And how about this? The game ended after midnight. So, of course, the Irish had a little luck on St. Patrick's Day, which I know a lot of people will be having a lot of fun with for the foreseeable future. So there you go. Evan, that was a crazy game last night. JD, good morning. Mallory says happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Everybody going out? I was watching the old news, right? I was watching the news, and the news had the Flyers. I was watching the news, and they had like all the bars around town getting geared up for St. Patrick's Day. And I'm like, all right, man. Now it's normal. Like for me, when I was telling you guys before about Center City Sips, right? I was like, wait, Center City Sips is coming back? And I'm like, if Center City Sips is coming back, then that only means one thing. The pandemic's done. Like, everyone with the CDC should be like, all right, we're not sure if the pandemic's done. What are they doing in Philadelphia? They brought back Center City Sips? I think we're good. Open up everything. If they're doing that, then we're good. And I hope that's the case. I'll cross my fingers and pray for that. That's what I'll do. But that's what we got going on in Philly, at least. And now it looks like St. Patrick's Day bars will be bumping, baby. So that's good. 6 years, $162 million. Yeah, for Freddie Freeman is pretty nuts. Says John. I agree. Michael, what's going on? Freddie getting paid. You're absolutely right. Jacob, good morning. The bench is going to kill us. Mally talking about the Sixers. Yeah, that's a problem. Mark, do y'all think Mark taught the kids how to make a bong out of some chalk and some trapper keepers? Mally, this is now a trapper keeper. The phone. That's the trapper keeper. Trapper keepers are great though. I told you guys before, my brother will like go to conventions, like Comic-Con convention type thing. He was just at the tattoo convention. I think that's what it was. But he'll go and he'll like sell nostalgia, basically. He'll sell trapper keepers. He'll sell stuff like that, whatever. He got a trapper keeper and he was like really excited about it. He's like, I'm going to sell this. It's going to be great. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. I remember trapper keepers weren't allowed at my schools growing up. I don't know why. Too much organization, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Uncle Mark making the kids laugh. Yeah. JD, you're hilarious. Yeah, I don't know if they let PJ in those things. Rockies giveaway. Yep. El Nolan Arenado. Yep. Jacob, what's up? Good morning. No, PJ did not come with me. Michael, what's up? I'm still unsure if PJ actually babysits. He does not. Actually, I don't know. Do you babysit? Do you have like younger cousins or anything you take care of? No? Okay. So no, he does not babysit. If you guys are looking though, hit him up on Twitter. Rockies. Kris Bryant hitting that ballpark is going to have a lot of fun. I think that's what we could say about that. Wait, the game 163 when Holiday versus Jimmy Rollins for MVP? Wait, where Holiday never touched the plate? Is that what we're talking about? Wait, the best, what are we talking about? Best Rockies teams? Yeah, probably best Rockies team since they got swept. And that was if you remember when Brett Myers was on with us, he talked about how when the Phillies made the playoffs in 2007, there was this feeling of like, we did it. And now everything else, if we make it past this part, we'll make it past this part. But I remember I was sitting at a bar. My cousin got married the night of Game 3 in Colorado. And I remember I was sitting at the bar after the wedding watching I think it was Jamie Moyer on the Hill, watching the Phillies just get blown up and thinking, this isn't going to end well. This sucks. I don't know. I was confused about the reference. Wait, what? John Cheesebro. Do we have a new segment in addition to the Not for Nothing story time with Uncle Mark? You get a graphic right now with the Farzy with the dinner jacket and a mug that actually has whiskey in it. Who's to say that's water? Let's see here. A+ John Cheeseborough. That's a great idea. Story time with Mark. Pretty much everything in the chat. Because I've told you guys before, as a fly is buzzing around the Steven Singer studio, can't have that. When I've told you guys before, like I got Family Guy brain. Like I just can't. When I was back in the school yesterday, I immediately thought, like, first off, to hell with all of this, because not speaking to the kids was great, the school was great, everyone was great there, but I have no idea how I ever got through school. Zero idea. Couldn't sit still, couldn't pay attention to anything, probably crazy ADD, whatever. I should get tested just to know whether or not I officially have it or not. But like I could, like, to read a book for me, you would have to chain me to a chair, and that's illegal. So that wasn't happening. But I just couldn't sit still. I couldn't concentrate on anything. When I go back and look at my old test papers, like every once in a while, my mom would be like, hey, your father and I are trying to get rid of some boxes in the house. Can you go through this thing? And I'll get it. And 9 times out of 10, there will be a stack of old tests in there. And I'll flip through it and it'll be like 41, 55, 62, 48. And these are out of 100. And I'm like, how did my dumbass ever get through school? And then I realized it's because I'm charming. That's why. But yeah, I immediately looked around, smelled the library, and was like, how did I ever make it out of school? Not only that, how did I go to college? How did I graduate from college? It's a miracle. Kids, if you're putting your mind to it, even a dumbass like me can overcome your dumbassery and graduate from college or school in general. So there you go. People are like, you going for your master's? What are you, crazy? I'm done. I went for my master's in my second year of kindergarten. That was my master's. We went to kindergarten and I got my master's degree in kindergarten. And then I went on with the rest of life and probably should have stayed in kindergarten for like 4 more years. So anyway, that's my story time. Let me drink some whiskey. There you go. Sam Cassell, Dave Yeager in the big chair. Michael says Doc's got to go. Did you notice Doc actually could control? This is what Doc is good at, apparently, conducting the choir.
We're going to sing today. Yeah.
And then they sang. So they did something Doc wanted them to do. So there you go. Matt Holliday being mentioned today. Baseball chat is already popping. April, good morning. But do you guys remember that? Matt Holliday in that extra game never touched home. He slid headfirst into home with his bald head. I can say that because I'm bald. And slid it home and never touched the plate. And they awarded him the run, the Rockies the run, and they won. And then they got into the playoffs. But Jimmy Rollins is the MVP. Congrats to PJ and Farzy for building this from scratch. That's very nice of you, Evan. Appreciate you. Oh, people are talking about the subs. Over 2,000. I think we're at like 2,060 now. So that's great. Oh, here's the other thing. The kids yesterday at school, they were like, so how many subs do you have? And I know that they're not watching my show. I know that what they're watching on YouTube, that like there's like 1 million subs. So they're like, how many subs do you have? And I was like, 2,000. And they're like, what are you doing here? Give them credit, though. They're smart kids. Rick, you're very kind. Shout out Josh Weinfeld, Buzz Sports and Entertainment. That's very nice of you, Evan. Thank you. Growing subs, that's great. Thank you to our social media team. You guys are awesome as well. Brendan, Ellis, Billy, all you guys, fantastic. Jason, our booker. Everybody else jumping in this chat, doing a fine job. Much appreciated. Doc refuses to believe that he isn't the same coach he used to be. That's what it seems like. Here's where I'm at. And I know Doc is still trying to piecemeal some stuff and he's trying to figure some stuff out. They might be in a situation that if they don't stagger as much as they've been, and probably the next step in the evolution of all this is pushing some other buttons. Maxey might be the guy to come off the bench. And you guys know I hate that idea. But if Harden is going to continue to defer to other players, if whether that's Tobias Harris, whether that's Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, obviously, then I'd rather see Maxey just run the second unit. And in the playoffs, though, there's really no second unit. Like, yes, you have your non-starters, obviously, but it's not the same where you're going to be shortening that bench to like 3 or 4 guys at most. So I think it just makes the most sense right now to try to keep your starting 5 the way it is. If you still continue to maybe you stagger a little bit more in the second half, maybe you start, because right now starting isn't that bad for the Sixers. The last 2 games against the Nuggets and then the last night against the Cavaliers, they've started great. It's how they're coming out in the second half that's bothering me. So maybe that's the bigger thing. Maybe that's where you start staggering your starting lineup in the second half. Maybe that's the next evolution for Doc Rivers. Maybe that's the next step. This is the only sports talk show I listen to. That's very nice, Mally. Appreciate you. You're awesome. Jim, thank you. You guys are great. Good morning. JD, what's going on? Doc-isms. John Cheesebro, now represent Doc-isms. All right, here we go. To me, Doc just seems like he doesn't care to have passion anymore. I wouldn't go that far. Taylor, good morning. April, I have to go back and listen to the beginning. Time change is still messing with me. Did we talk about that at all? That yesterday? Did I hit that at all? That Congress, it's like in Congress to pass the bill to get rid of daylight savings time? What the hell took so long? And you know what we should do next? We should move President's Day to the day after the Super Bowl. And if the NFL continues to push the Super Bowl back, if like in 10 more years there's another, there's week 19 in the NFL season, then move President's Day again. But okay, first order of business. All right, good job with daylight savings. Hopefully that comes into effect next year and we can all enjoy more daylight. And then hopefully we move President's Day to after the Super Bowl and we'll all be better off for it. Doc Rivers waits until after the game ends to call timeouts. But John, very nice. Taylor, good morning. If I didn't say it already, Doc waits until it stops raining to open his umbrella. John, I like where you're going with these. Doc likes to wait until he finishes his sandwich to say it's not good. Very good. Mac, what's up, Mac? Nice to have you in. Says, good morning to everybody. Doc likes to wait until he's eaten the fries to add salt and pepper. Mac, John, everyone's getting in on this. Doc likes to put his envelopes in the mail before realizing he needs to put a stamp on them. There you go. Maybe to build on that for a second, Doc sends the email and always forgets to add the attachment. Bobby Boucher, Mama says you always need to put a stamp on a letter. John likes to wait until his favorite show is done for the season to set the DVR to record the new shows. Hey, folks, are you like me where you'll DVR a show and then you'll wait, it'll take you a minute worth of commercials to go, damn it! Fast forward. That's where I'm at. I'm still in that mode. Oh, Alyssa, what's going on, Alyssa? Glad your Sixers were able to pull it out last night. I know the Flyers stink, but congrats to Claude Giroux for 1,000. Henry, that's amazing. Who they got? They got the Predators tonight. 7:00 puck drop. So we'll see where that goes. John Cheeseburger, why'd they bring back Odubel Herrera? No one knows the answer to that question. Not even Odubel. Shiloh, what's going on? Yes, go Claude Giroux. Is this Claude's last game tonight? It quite frankly could be. That's from Jim. Zach, bring back Shane Victorino. Did you guys see that? Oh, okay, yeah, Zach, that's what you're pointing out. Shane Victorino actually said, I'd rather take Shane Victorino right now than Odubel Herrera. And Shane Victorino quoted that tweet and said, I'll get on the treadmill. Would love to see the Flying Hawaiian out there getting things done right now. I would have brought back Kutch and the 27 steps he lost. John, you're not far off there. I just need Hazley to suck less. John, me too. Henry, R.I.P. Scott Kingery. Yeah, I remember that. Scott Kingery's contract, when he signed that deal, I was like, this could be the greatest, most team-friendly deal in the history of sports. And yeah, that has not been the case. Falconator 51. Mickey Moniak sounds like the name of a guy who plays for the Phillies. Hopefully that alone means that he'll have a bright future. Yeah, I hope the same thing. Alyssa, I think I gag every time I say Odubel Herrera. Everybody misses the Flying Hawaiian. I agree. It's like John Cheesebro. It's like Doc and Girardi are just there for the money and aren't really in it. Just look at their faces every day. To me, it feels like they're going through the motions. It could be like that for Doc at this point, but I don't know. I think Joe Girardi still wants to win away from New York. And I think Doc, I don't know if he's at the point where he's just cashing a check. I don't think he is, but I get why you're watching. It really still puzzles me that Doc would say that Joel Embiid needed a break. Like Joel Embiid was tired. I never seen that before. Doc Rivers saying that Joel Embiid needed a break. I never saw that before. He needed to come out. Like, to me, that was such a subtle thing that I don't feel like enough people brought up and talked about. I thought that was really weird. Oh, Daniel's back. What's up, Daniel? TV show, Wet Hot American Summer. Thank you. Yes, Wet Hot American Summer, Kevin. Thank you for getting that. That is a great show. It's a lot of fun. It should be noted that Monday Night Football is going to be the simulcast on NBC, or excuse me, on ABC for most, if not all, the season from now on. That's great. Alyssa, my BD is next week. Oh, Alyssa, happy birthday. If we don't get you next week, happy birthday. Jim, Farzy, please stay on from 7 to 10. Have a longer show. Don't make us. Oh, okay. I'll do what I can for the length of this show. T-Bro, Farzy sitting at 2,000 subs while Vlad and Nikki, a.k.a. the kids that my kids watch, have millions. Hey, man, that's as Josh Weinfeld told me before we started the show about over a year ago. He's like, hey, YouTube's the Wild West, man. YouTube's interesting because you'll see stuff like that where, like, I forget what this kid was doing. This kid was going around just trying to raise money, and he was just walking around and trying to raise money, and it was like 5 million views. It's amazing. We're almost at 1,000 followers on TikTok. If we get to 1,000 followers on TikTok, what should I do, guys? Should I shake my ass? Should I do one of them TikTok challenges? Should I do that? Oh, here I am on TikTok right now. Okay, hold on. Let me just see this. What are we at right now? Yeah, we're at 967 TikTok people. TikTok's wild, man. The riff I did on Tyrese Maxey and the step back with Harden got 33,000 views. Huh? The stuff that goes off, man. Doc Rivers blaming players, 7,000 views. I feel like that's nothing in the TikTok world. If Ben had stayed, it could have gone to Rothman. Farzy to Oh, was that yesterday? Nice, good for them. Doc, okay, guys, when you play defense, you have to make sure you leave your man every possession. This way, Cleveland will get scared when they're wide open with those looks. That's what it seems like. Ronald, 1,000 on TikTok is nuts, especially for an old man like you. See, here's the thing. If you're scrolling through TikTok and you see me, I would think that's uncomfortable. Like, this guy shouldn't be on TikTok. Like, TikTok is one of those things, like, all social media seems like it should be for kids, with the exception of Twitter, because information usually just pumps right out of that. But when it comes to, like, TikTok or Instagram or Snapchat, which is that even a thing anymore? Like, TikTok is just, I feel like, and I think my good friend Natalie Eganoff summed it up well when she signed up for TikTok. She did the Steve Buscemi gif with the skateboard over her shoulder. What's up, fellow kids? Like, that's kind of how I feel. Do the TikTok where you wear all those different cosplay outfits except for all your emo shirts. No, you know what the TikTok thing I like? The TikTok thing I like is where they got the fork in the apple, but you can't see the fork. And it's like, whatever the hell that is. That's the thing. That's what I'll do. And then I'll do the thing where, like, maybe I'll just throw the shirts on. The thing where they throw the shirts. Do I have any extra shirts? No. And they throw the shirt, and it looks like they threw the shirt on their body. It looks amazing. They change shirts that way. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe that's what I'll do. Or maybe I'll do some of my woodworking. Huh? Maybe I'll do some of the woodworking. That's therapeutic. People like that. Usually the comments for those are, oh, wow, why was that so therapeutic? Oh, wow, why was that so relaxing? Why am I being hypnotized right now? Like me with a dowel drill. Making my that's my project right now. I'm making a coffee station in my kitchen out of 100-year-old wood that I pulled out of the wall when I was doing the demo in my third floor. Pulled these 2x4s out, and it's like 100-year-old wood, so it's kind of cool looking. So I just sanded it down real nice, put a little tongue oil finish. That's a thing. I'm gonna put that on. I have a nice little coffee station. Maybe I'll put a video of that and just stare at the camera like that the entire time. That'll be fun. All right. Anyway, my husband is over 180,000 on what? On what? TikTok? That's insane. You guys are awesome. Thanks for everybody jumping in on the chat. You guys are fantastic. Always great talking to you guys. Let's jump into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Flyers, Predators tonight. Could it be the last game for Claude Giroux? It's a 7 o'clock tip-off. Sixers are back in action. Sixers are back in action tomorrow night against the Dallas Mavericks. They're back home for that. So we will see how that goes. So we'll see how that one goes. And I'm trying to confirm one thing here for y'all's people. I don't want to leave you without saying this because I was talking about the trade deadline already. Yeah, next week. Okay, Monday. So that falls on Monday. It was the 21st. Monday is the NHL trade deadline. The Flyers, they obviously play tonight. Claude Giroux plays in his 1,000th game. Make sure you guys are following all the social media with the Flyers and Claude Giroux right now. Nasty Knuckles. They got some great stuff out there. Tributes to Claude Giroux for 1,000 games with the Flyers. Alyssa, you never heard me say puck drop? Yeah, I love puck drop. Puck drop. When I was doing updates to WIP, always I looked forward to the top of the hour puck drops because it just rolled off the tongue so easy. 7 o'clock puck drop, 8 o'clock puck drop, 9 o'clock puck drop, 10 o'clock puck drop. The 10:10s, the 10:30s, the 9:30s, the 7:30s. To hell with them. So yeah, Monday is the trade deadline in the NHL, and the Flyers before Monday, they obviously play tonight. Oh, I said tip off? I'm embarrassed. And here I am going around talking to kids, trying to educate the youth of America. Can't have that. Can't have that. Flyers play tonight at 7 o'clock puck drop. And then they play back-to-back. And then they play again on Sunday. So maybe the last 3 games of Claude Giroux's career. So that's where we got. So there we go. Knew what you meant. Sports are hard. You're right, Alyssa. Sports are hard. Thanks, everybody. That was our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Jim Hyden produced the program. The Farzy Show is presented by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com. What? I said it again? Damn it! 7 o'clock puck drop. I'm going to go sit in the corner. All right, that's what I'm going to do. 7 o'clock puck drop. Tonight, 7 o'clock puck drop. Friday night, 2 o'clock puck drop. Sunday afternoon in what could be Claude Giroux's last game. Thank you guys for keeping me honest. God bless you. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com. Oh, Kevin, you were just kidding? Messing with my mind. Farzy Show presented by DestinationRetirement.com from the Steven Singer Studios. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Danny Palmels joins us tomorrow to talk about all things 76ers from Sixers Talk Podcast, and I'll also have a one-on-one with Son Riddick, so we'll look forward to having a conversation with Danny about that as well. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. You guys are fantastic. See ya.